Sports, the home of the NCAA Basketball Championship.
Hello, everyone. I'm James Brown in New York, and welcome to Doubleheader Saturday here on CBS. We'll take another step on the road to the Final Four by starting our day in the Chicago area for what figures to be a high-scoring matchup between Loyola Marymount and DePaul. Then about 4 o'clock Eastern time, you'll get to see the #1 team in the country, the Duke Blue Devils, as they visit Maryland. I'll be back throughout the day with updates from around the country, but in the meantime, sit back, relax, and enjoy a great doubleheader here on CBS.
Welcome to the Horizon in Rosemont, Illinois. This afternoon, the DePaul Blue Demons are playing host to the Lions of Loyola Marymount. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel. Welcome to NCAA basketball here on CBS. If you have not seen the Loyola Marymount Lions in action, sit back, relax, and strap yourselves in because they are the runningest, gunningest team in the country. These teams are not strangers. They met 3 weeks ago, and the man in the middle of the Loyola lineup, Hank Gathers, had a big day for the Lions, but an even bigger day was had by Stanley Brundy of DePaul, 47 points and 20 rebounds. Still, the game came down to the final 40 seconds. DePaul down until Brad Niemann hit this three-point bomb with 40 seconds to play. That gave DePaul the lead. They went on to win it by a score of 115 to 111. I'm joined this afternoon by Quinn Buckner. A 4-point game last time, Quinn. What do we expect this afternoon?
Well, Greg, I expect to see a fantastic style. I think Loyola's going to come out. On the one hand, they want the tempo up. They scored 111 points the last time they played the game, but they missed 20 out of 40 free throws. On the other side, DePaul wants a half-court contest. They're going to slow it down, try to let their big people take advantage inside.
Slowing down Loyola will be a job in itself. You'll see what we mean. The 8-5 Loyola Marymount Lions, the 9-7 DePaul Blue Demons. Opening lineups and tip-off when we come back to Rosemont after this.
CBS Sports coverage of college basketball is sponsored by the Heartbeat of America, today Chevrolet. United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies. And by Coors Light, there's no slowing down with a silver bullet. The best light beer for a good long time.
See you later, baby. We're out of here. Gearing up, getting going. Gas light beer, gonna hang with lights up. Get out of town. The silver bullet won't slow you down. So come on in the Coors Light, the bright beer now.
A good time is where you find it, and the last thing you want to do is slow it down. So come on into Coors Light, a great light beer for a good long time.
Light beer now.
We started 5 cars with one 2-year-old Die-Hard battery and 1 car at 30 below after 8 hours in a cold room. Today's Die-Hard with power to start your car and a whole lot more.
A recent Department of Energy study reveals that most American homes are under-insulated. And that means you. To find out what's right for your home, call Owens Corning at 1-800-GET-PINK.
In 13 cities in 10 countries across the Pacific, they're playing our song. United Airlines Royal Pacific Service. Rededicated to giving you the service you deserve halfway around the world. Come fly the friendly skies.
Welcome back to the Horizon in Rosemont, where the Loyola Marymount Lions will try to even the score, and there is fourth-year coach at Loyola Marymount, Paul Westhead. 67-36. Here's the way Loyola Marymount will start. Stumer, the 6'7" sophomore, will start at one forward along with 6'3" sophomore Tom Peabody. The man in the middle, the nation's leading scorer and rebounder, junior Hank Gathers. In the backcourt, 6'2" junior sharpshooter Jeff Pryor, along with Enoch Simmons, the 6'4" senior guard. For the DePaul Blue Demons, coached by Joey Meyer. Joey Meyer now in his 5th season here at DePaul. And here's how the Blue Demons will line up. Stanley Brundy, 6'7" senior from Los Angeles, and David Booth moves from the backcourt up front, and James Hamby will start in the middle, the 7'1" junior. In the backcourt, Terrence Greene, a 6'4" senior from Flint, Michigan, and Brad Niemann, the 6'3" sophomore from Glenview, Illinois, gets the start. DePaul 9 up and 7 down for the season. Loyola Marymount at 8 and 5 and getting ready to jump in at center court. 44 Gathers for Loyola Marymount, and 44 in white for DePaul is James Hamby. And the opening tap goes to the Lions, and here we go.
Right away, DePaul comes out in a man-to-man defense. They want to try to just make sure they can get the Gathers and make him shoot the jump shots they can.
Casting off from long range is Peabody, no good. Stumer underneath. And the foul is good. And the traveling violation is called before the bucket went through. So DePaul will take over. And immediately the full court pressure from the Lions.
Yeah, they definitely want to get this tempo up, and this is the way to do it because DePaul doesn't have a lot of ball handlers. They're a very young club.
Hamby throws it away. Stumer with the turnover. Comes back. Pryor, favorite spot on the floor.
That's all day right there. They tell Jeff Pryor to run to that spot on the court, and he gets the ball, and he said his name is on it to shoot it.
Pryor with the first bucket of the game, the first three-pointer. Back comes Terrence Greene. And Niemann inside. Turnaround by Brundy. No, tap up is good. Stanley Brundy with the tap in, and it's a 3-2 Loyola Marymount lead. 11 is Peabody. 44 is Gathers, who goes to the baseline and draws the foul.
They call the foul on Hamby in there, but if Gathers gets the ball inside, and he is just a tough player to handle. He's only 6'7", and Hamby's 7 feet, but Gathers has so much quickness off his feet, and it creates a lot of problems for people guarding him down there.
Hank Gathers had 32 points and 11 rebounds when these teams met back on the 23rd of December on this very court. And we're looking at a young man who has a better shooting percentage from the floor than he does from the free throw line. And that didn't help matters.
No, not at all. And if you look at his shot, his rhythm is awkward, and that's one way you can tell why he doesn't shoot it so well, that he just doesn't have a very good rhythm.
So Gathers goes 0 for 2 from the line. The score remains 3-2 Loyola Marymount, and DePaul comes back in a hurry.
Now, Joey's has his team, and we're going to have to make a decision whether they're going to take advantage of opportunities that they get early or whether they're going to slow it down and get it into Brundy, who can score almost at will.
Booth, top of the key. Tap loose, Stumer with the rebound, and here come the Lions. Enoch Simmons to Gathers, down the lane. Short hook doesn't go. Gathers with the rebound and puts it up again. And this time, Niemann comes down with it for DePaul. So the Lions start out cold.
Yeah, well, they've had good opportunities. They got everything they wanted inside. Gathers just couldn't get the ball in.
Greene down low to a wide open Brundy. Good look inside, and it's 4-3 DePaul. Gathers on the drive. That one doesn't go, and the whistle blows underneath. And here's the look inside to Brundy.
Well, you see Terrence Greene gets the ball, and when you get it, the first thing you should do is look inside. You see at the top of your screen that popped open Stanley Brundy, and it looked like there was some confusion between Simmons and Gathers on the other side.
Don't look for an awful lot of defense. In fact, the last time these two teams played, Brundy, with his 47 points, as the foul is committed at center court by Jeff Pryor.
Well, Greg, you know where I came from, Indiana, we play defense all day long. I'm not accustomed to seeing teams that don't play defense.
You couldn't get on campus unless you played defense at Indiana, could you?
Definitely, that's the way it was there. But, you know, we watched Paul Westhead in practice yesterday, and he does teach his team some defensive principles. But what he decides is whether or not if the team is going to score, he'd rather have them do it in 5 seconds than 30.
Terrence Greene out of the corner. Loose tip, Booth retrieves. And Niemann is open for 3. Brundy with the board, and back inside for Booth.
Well, you get 3 opportunities like that, you're bound to score. Loyola didn't do a good job blocking out, and DePaul ended up getting the basket.
6-3 Blue Demons. 17.5 to play first half. The whistle, the foul, and the basket counts. Number 21, Jeff Pryor, with his first bucket of the day.
Jeff Pryor did a good job coming off the pick that time. He came off of it. Looked like he was open, went up, avoided the contact, still got the shot in. But he's got the green light, so you can make those shots a lot when you have the green light like Pryor does.
Foul is on Brad Niemann, number 22, his first. Pryor's second basket of the day, I beg your pardon, and that free throw makes it 6 points for Pryor. He has all 6 of the Lions' points, and it's a 6-6 tie. More pressure. And Booth losing it and regaining it. Greene into the lane. Good spin. Doesn't go. The follow is good by Brundy, and the foul.
The play was made primarily by Terrence Greene, forcing the action in there. And when you push the ball up, there's a tendency for people not to block out. Loyola didn't block out. Stanley Brundy got the tip in, and now he has a chance for a three-point opportunity.
You know, I can't help, Quinn, but thinking the most memorable thing that Paul Westhead said yesterday was, we asked if Jeff Pryor is a good passer, and he says he doesn't know.
He did, Greg. He said he doesn't know. I haven't seen him do it yet, but he's been encouraged to shoot the ball. He can shoot it from three-point range, and so he has encouraged to do just that.
Hamby on the offensive follow, and it's a 10-6 DePaul lead. The steal on the inbound, out of bounds, and it belongs to Loyola Marymount. So DePaul clearly the more aggressive team in the early minutes of the game.
Well, one of the things I think we have to consider here is this is Loyola's third game in 4 nights, and they've traveled 2,000 miles to play it, so they may be a little travel weary.
Gathers. Play and catch with Enoch Simmons, and Gathers had it batted out of his hands. From the far side, and now inside for Stumer. Loose ball on the floor, and DePaul comes away with it. So the Lions coming out very shaky.
Well, I think that part of that is due to the aggressiveness of DePaul. I think they come out very aggressive, and that makes a big difference when you're trying to win the game. You're not trying to lose it, you're trying to win the game.
Booth doesn't go, and here comes Enoch Simmons on the drive. Offensive foul on Simmons.
The point I was trying to make is that you're not trying to lose it. You play to win. You don't play a game trying to keep yourself from losing. And I think that's what Loyola is trying to do in addition to being travel weary.
Substitution into the game for Loyola Marymount, number 42, John Veargason, a 6'10 senior from San Jose, California. Brundy at the other end.
Well, that's a pass Loyola will give you all day, because that goes back to their saying, if you're going to score, it's a lot better for Loyola if you score in 5 seconds than take 30 seconds, because you take a time away from us on the offensive end.
Brundy has 8. Gather's shot is no good. Simmons comes up shooting long, and Hamby with the rebound. Niemann will pull up. Three-pointer makes it a 15-6 DePaul lead. Gathers right back for Loyola Marymount. And Gathers, the nation's leading scorer, with his first basket of the day. Here comes DePaul again. Brundy. And that's the price Loyola Marymount will pay on occasion.
You got your tennis neck on, because this game is going back and forth.
Brundy has 10. It's a 17-8 DePaul lead with 15:43 to play in the first half.
Who says Chevy beats Ford? USAC tested Chevy's compact S10 with available Vortec V6 against 2 full-size Fords with standard 6 and available V8. 0 to 60, towing identical trailers, Chevy S10 beat both full-size Fords. That's pickup power.
And if a compact Chevy S10 with a V6 can out-accelerate a full-size Ford with a V8, imagine what it can do against Ford's little truck.
The heartbeat of America, that's the day Chevy struck. Hey, neighbor, got a favor to ask of you. Got to write this now. I know you can't come through, 'cause we rock pretty steady. We like moving around, and the silver bullet won't slow you down. So come on in the Coors Light. It's the right beer now. Right now you're drinking light, so keep drinking it right. Come on in the Coors Light. It's the right beer now.
So are you doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
Dad was afraid I'd find a starving artist up here.
Oh, Dad was worried.
Okay, I admit, I was a bit worried when my little sister took off on her own.
I'm not so little anymore.
Here, let me get that.
No way. It's mine.
American Express, huh? I'm going to stop worrying about you.
Making you feel like a million. To become a member, look for this display and take one.
Greg Gumbel, Quinn Buckner back at the Rosemont Horizon. 15:43 to play in the first half. And at the outset, Quinn, we doubted that DePaul could duplicate its 62.5% shooting from 3 weeks ago against Loyola Marymount, but 8 of 15 so far isn't bad.
Well, it really isn't, but the thing that allows you to do that is if you get in an up-tempo game, you can get a lot of layups, and that's what DePaul has done. And I think they've come out with a little bit of different thinking that we talked about at the top of the show. They're going to try to run Loyola down because of the leg travel, with the travel from the legs. With the legs and, you know, being on the airplane all day. And it's something that I would consider, but I would do it differently.
It has something to do with legs, doesn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
In the lane. Jeff Fryer. Fryer now with 8. 17-10. DePaul. And getting the ball in and across the line, here comes Terrence Greene. And Hamby will slow it down and bring it back out for Greene. This is the freshman Booth on the baseline, and the foul is going to go against Loyola Marymount's Tom Peabody. That's 2 on Peabody.
David Booth is a great story, and they have to pay Loyola. They must pay him attention because if he doesn't, he can get off to a good jump on him. He had a tough game against Eastern Illinois, and they expect a big offensive game from him today.
Number 20, Melvon Foster, a 6'3" sophomore from Chicago, into the lineup for DePaul, replacing Brad Niemann. And now the substitution for Loyola Marymount. Terry Mister, a 5'9" sophomore from Chicago, replaces number 11, Tom Peabody.
Well, this is primarily done on both parts just to give guys a break. They know that there's a lot of emotion. This is a National League televised game, and people are going to get a little tired just from that alone. Just because
the lob for Brundy. Good look from Terrence Greene. 19-10 DePaul. Mister casts off from long range, doesn't go, batted out of bounds, belongs to DePaul.
5-over-1. Terrence Greene does a good job, lobs the ball over, as you see right there. Fryer, there's no way he can guard Stanley Brundy. Brundy held off, got the layup, and that's a good position by Brundy, but it's good sight by Terrence Greene to make the pass.
Loyola Marymount has turned the ball over 5 times to just once for the Blue Demons. Greene comes open at the top. Terrence Greene makes it a 21-10 DePaul lead.
Three-pointer or a 2?
Back in a hurry. The Lions want to put it up. Gathers is stripped of the ball, and Greene comes up with it. 4-on-1 break for DePaul. Booth.
Great pass by Terrence Greene, pushing the ball up, and David Booth finishing it off.
Fryer, long range three-pointer, and the foul.
Jeff Fryer running to his position, and again, this tempo, even though DePaul is doing well right now, it favors Loyola. They would rather have the game like this because they are in better condition. Paul Westhead, you see there on your screen, said our guys are in better condition now than they were the first time they played. So if the game continues like this, it would seem to be in Loyola's advantage.
Into the game, number 21, Stephen Howard, a 6'9" freshman from Dallas, Texas. He replaces James Hamby. And Fryer at the line looking to make it a 4-point play. Fryer has 12, and it's 23-14. Per Stumer, number 4, back into the game. Enoch Simmons has a seat. And again, the full court pressure, and the Blue Demons are able to break it again. Foster will pull up. Mister with the rebound. And Stumer for 3.
All day. That's his shot. And I said all day. Per Stumer, we saw him yesterday practice that. I mean, he shoots that like I used to shoot layups. I couldn't shoot jump shots.
13:35 to play. First half. 23-14. DePaul with the lead. David Booth down the lane. Doesn't go. Rebound Brundy. And back come the back comes Loyola again. And good defense by Foster. Greene behind the back and out of bounds.
you hate to see a team blow an opportunity like that. That's great defensive effort by Melvon Foster, and to see Terrence Greene make those kind of decisions is very difficult on Joey Meyer, I'm sure.
22, Brad Niemann back into the lineup, along with number 32, Curtis Price for DePaul. 25-14, 13:05 to play first half here at the Rosemont Horizon. Fryer pushed out of the way by Stanley Brundy. And Veargason had a turnaround and say, did you see that?
The official got screened out. There was no way he could see it, but he did get pushed.
Brundy, top of the key. Niemann is open. And the ball goes over to Loyola Marymount.
Now, the last two possessions, I don't think that DePaul has been very patient at all. They turned the ball over there. They took a long shot, a bad shot here. They have to come down, be patient, and slow the pace of this game down, or they're going to have some trouble here.
11-point Loyola or DePaul lead. Gathers into the lane. Double team. Forces it. Stumer.
That's a bad shot by Gathers, but that's good effort, I thought, on per Stumer. But Stumer went to the basket because you know when Gathers gets it, he's going to shoot.
Stephen Howard into the front court for DePaul. 25-16, DePaul. Foster dropping it off for Brundy. Nice play by Melvon Foster.
Good play through the defense to him, found the opening to Brundy, got it to him.
Fryer casts off another three-point bomb, and it's 27-19. 15 for Fryer. Deflected. Howard comes up with it and loses it. Here comes Gathers. 3-on-1 Lions. Stumer. And the sophomore from Södertälje, Sweden.
You did that well.
I did that. It's the only time I'm going to try it all day, too.
I bet you have it.
That 11-point DePaul lead is now down to 6.
I'm sure we'll see Joey make some substitutions. I see Terrence Greene has gotten off the bench. You need some people out there that make good decisions. He has a young team. Without Greene out there, they don't have anybody that makes good decisions, knows when to shoot it and when to pass it.
Price, top of the key, doesn't go. Stumer with the rebound. And a bad outlet picked off by Price. "11 minutes to play, first half. DePaul definitely slowing the pace down now. Still 30 seconds left on the shot clock.
They're slowing this pace down for a number of reasons.
Second attempt, Brundy with the tap in.
One of the reasons where they just couldn't get anybody in position to score.
And the takeaway in the backcourt by Howard. Howard. And DePaul has it rolling again. 31-21. After his 47-point outing, partially blocked by Price. After his 47-point outing against Loyola Marymount the last time, Brundy said it's no big deal. They don't play defense.
Boy, and even though Paul Westhead gives them some principle, they don't do a very good job of it. I mean, I don't see them make a lot of effort. They don't help out. And you see Brundy get open again.
Brundy, no. Foster tries to follow up. Howard. And the whistle blows underneath. And this one will go against DePaul's Melvon Foster. First foul on, make that the second foul on Foster. Timeout on the floor, 9 minutes, 59 seconds to play in this track meet of a basketball game, and DePaul leads by 10.
How do you figure your financial future? How do you get an advantage? Look for an edge. Look for a company that can sharpen your opportunities in mutual funds, pensions, IRAs, employee benefit plans, insurance, and much more. Look for the Principal Edge from the Principal Financial Group, one of America's largest, helping people with the fine points of their financial future. The Principal. Look for the edge.
Listen to the heartbeat of America.
No one knows more about winning than Chevy. That's why no one offers you all the winning performance of Chevy.
The heartbeat of America. That's the day Chevrolet.
Never thought it'd work. Send everybody from the plant to school. Give us union guys a say in running things. Look, 1 million cars from right here. Wasn't easy. But I figure GM customers are getting some of the best-built cars in America from these guys. So, I guess it is working.
The UAW GM Training Partnership is now the largest private educational program in the world.
Duke, Maryland, the #1 team in the nation, the Blue Devils of Duke, battle ACC Polk, Maryland, on CBS Sports next.
Just under 10 minutes to play first half as you look at Paul Westhead in his 4th year at Loyola Marymount, former coach of the Lakers and the Bulls in the NBA, and look at the kind of numbers his guys have put up on the board lately.
Boy, he's definitely accustomed to getting a lot of points on the board. You know, he talked to us about the game, and he said the perfect game for them would be 240 points, ladies and gentlemen.
And he's talking about just his guys.
Oh, yeah.
He's not talking about the opposition included.
So they expect great things from their team offensively.
Whistle as the pass goes inside to Gathers. And the foul is on Curtis Price. That's his first. In that game against U.S. International, you see North Carolina State with the big win, and Illinois trying to close in on the #1 spot. Gathers with a move inside and then a baseline pass.
Great play by Gathers. He took the ball, put it behind the defender. The defender looked for it, and Gathers was able to get position to go to the basket, put a pass off.
34 Chris Knight on the scoring end, 31-23 DePaul. And here's Howard. And again, the Blue Demons will slow it down.
Well, I'm sure that's what Joey told his team in the timeout. If we get good shots, guys, let's take them. But if we don't have to force it because they don't play very good defense.
Howard working his way inside, draws the foul as he goes to the basket. Stephen Howard, a 6'9" freshman from Dallas, where he was not only an all-state basketball player, but a track man, an all-state hurdler, shot putter. Joey Meyer expecting big things out of him.
I'm very definitely expecting some big things out of him. He's a good student. He was 3.5 this year on the 4-point scale in the semester. And interestingly enough, when kids come to school, they usually have a box for their stereo, one for their TV, and he had a third box. And Tim Stevens has said, what's this third box for? And he said, it's for my computer. This young man is very, very literate with the computer.
Tim Stevens, Sports Information Director here at DePaul University. And Howard makes it 1 of 2 from the line. 32-23 DePaul. Blue Demons have led from the start. Gathers. Stuffed inside by Hamby, number 44. And the steal by Greene. Greene will take it in and score.
Great anticipation by Greene. He pushed it up, was able to get the opportunity.
Simmons into the lane and right back for Loyola Marymount. 34-25. Simmons, his first basket of the day. Substitution for DePaul, number 12, Chuckie Murphy, the 6-foot walk-on freshman from St. Joseph's High School in Westchester, Illinois. And a favorite of DePaul fans here.
Yeah, the walk-on typically is. They've rarely had a situation where the walk-on has started. Chuckie has been one of those players to do just that. He walked on and started for him at point guard for a while.
Howard, good move to get inside. And the freshman has 5 points. Here's Stumer, long range. Gathers in a rebound. And goes right back up. Over the back, loose ball, and DePaul comes up with it. And Murphy will slow it down.
Wisely slow it down. They didn't have advantage on numbers. He brings it back out and try to get the team set up in good offense.
Murphy looking down low and then back outside. Price turnaround. And Gathers way up high for the rebound. Here come the Lions with 7:55 to play. Fryer. And Hamby with the rebound. Hamby at 7'1", the tallest Blue Demon in DePaul history. Greene drops it off for Howard.
Good job drawing the defense to him, pass the ball back to Howard. They know that Gathers is not going to go up and try to block many shots. He can't afford to be in foul trouble.
DePaul by 13. And Gathers going to his right for one of the rare times
Yeah, we've noticed that Gathers would rather go to his left to try to get his opportunity. He came right that time, but wasn't very good. As you see, Enoch Simmons knocked down a three-pointer. You know, that's something that I would think most people would just play him for. Play him to turn to what would be his left shoulder, see what he can do, because I haven't seen him being very effective there.
DePaul again making its way through the press. Murphy, good dish off. James Hamby set up well by the freshman Murphy. .12-point DePaul lead. And Stumer on the drive, back out for Simmons. And Gathers fouled on his way back up.
Well, I applaud Gathers for the rebound, but what I really think was great is we saw Stumer take 2 shots. He got 1 block. He came the next time, shot 1 further out. This time he got the ball, acted as though he was going to shoot the jump shot, drove in, passed it out to Simmons, who missed it, and that's where Gathers gets his offensive rebound.
Because of his age, Stumer, with 3 years of eligibility at LMU, he's now in his sophomore year. He'll be 22 years old this year.
Yeah, he's played a lot of basketball. You know, when we saw him yesterday, I didn't realize how big he is across his chest. He's a big, strong kid, willing to get in there and bang. And, you know, he adds a lot to what they try to get accomplished, considering that he can shoot the ball as well as rebound.
Gathers just 1 of 9 from the floor so far, and those aren't good numbers for the nation's leading scorer. And he knocks down the second free throw. Timeout on the floor, 6:50 to play. DePaul with a 40-29 lead. We'll be back to the horizon in a moment.
The AT&T Pebble Beach National Pro-Am in 2 weeks on CBS Sports.
Susan, can we talk?
Sure, Dad.
You notice anything different about Mom?
She's acting pretty wild for her age.
Well, I don't just mean the roller skates.
And the motor scooter. She even borrowed my new dress. Come on, Dad, what is it?
A balanced diet with the right vitamin nutrition helps people get more out of life. Some are finding Kellogg's Product 19. 100% of 12 vitamins and minerals. Feel good about yourself.
Not the, rubber dress.
Feel like 19 again.
Listen to the heartbeat. Well, of America, my friend. It's the rhythm of the road. It's the awesome street. A city, a town, magic sound. Oh, the heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevrolet. You ought to listen. To Kentucky Fried Chicken. Burgers don't have it. Pizzas don't have it. Only one place has it. Cross the road to Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Only Kentucky Fried Chicken has the Colonel's original recipe of 11 herbs and spices. So when you want that one and only taste, come on over to our side of the road.
Cross the road to Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yeah, cross the road, cross the road.
Back at the Rosemont Horizon, just outside of Chicago, DePaul leading Loyola Marymount 40-30 with 6 minutes, 50 seconds to play. Greg Gumbel, along with Quinn Buckner, and DePaul has been shooting very well so far this afternoon, and Loyola Marymount, Quinn, has been turning the ball over in droves so far.
Well, they really have. The turnovers is the big key there. You see, they have 10. Again, I think that's the travel weariness. The guys don't have the legs. They can't get, you know, the passes they should normally get to. But Brundy's having an outstanding game. You know, they don't play a lot of defense for LMU, and that's caused LMU some problems.
One of the things that Loyola Marymount, of course, does so well is force the issue, but you felt that DePaul prevailed the first time because they have the better athletes.
Well, I really do. I think that the athletes coming off the bench are a lot, they are better. That's a deeper team, and I think that's what's going to really be to their advantage this half.
Also, the fact that Loyola Marymount only shot 20 of 40 from the free throw line the last time these two teams met, and the game was only a 4-point difference. Double teaming Terrence Greene in the corner. He gets loose. Loose ball to Brundy. Brundy has 20. And it's a 42-30 DePaul lead. Gathered in the lane. Doesn't go. Brundy with the rebound.
Brundy's really playing big here. You know, you and I were talking about that. I knew you'd have to, but he's played really big today.
And Fryer off the turnover. Long range doesn't go. And David Booth up high for the rebound. And again, they pressure the ball, and again, they turn it over. Gathers. Gathers again. And he's fouled.
Greg, if you get that many opportunities at the basket, the fans are complaining they thought there were some fouls involved there. I'm not sure I agree. But if anybody gets that many opportunities to score off a rebound basket, they'll beat the opposition. I mean, there's no reason for DePaul. You see a disappointed Joey Meyer. No reason for DePaul not to block out and get the rebound.
Foul is on number 44, James Hamby, his second.
No, I was looking at and speaking to Gathers about it, just his play. I looked at his offensive rebounds. He's got almost half of his rebounds are offensive. I mean, he's quick to the ball. He has a great instinct about playing the game. He's just a terrific player.
Comes into the game leading the nation in scoring at 34.5 points a game, leading the nation in rebounding at 14.4 a game. But he's 1 for 11 from the floor this afternoon, and he misses that free throw.
Well, he's 1 for the 11, and I think Joey has done a good thing. He tried to put somebody tall on Gathers. Gathers is only 6'7". He takes the ball and tries to create problems by taking it to the defense, and he doesn't even get away with it.
And he won't get a chance at a second free throw. Lane violation goes against Loyola Marymount, and DePaul has the ball. And the full court pressure. Murphy, double team. 12-point Loyola, or 12-point DePaul lead. We are under 6 minutes to play in the first half. Murphy, open. Simmons comes down and almost loses it. Fryer back outside for Simmons. Booth inside, out of bounds, belongs to Loyola Marymount.
Well, you see, even though DePaul is up, Loyola Marymount has not stopped running the ball up the court. I mean, they'll take shots whether they're making them or not. Because Westhead gives them the green light. Guys, if you open, shoot the basketball.
The Lions have missed their last 9 shots from the floor. Jeff Fryer to the bench for Loyola Marymount. He's replaced by number 20, Terrell Lowery. Lowery, a 6'2" freshman from Oakland, California. Peabody gets the break on the baseline, batted away by Brundy. And Greene coming down 2-on-1 and blew the layup, and he had a wide open teammate. Here comes Simmons.
Boy, Enoch Simmons got up there in a hurry. I knew he was a good athlete, but he dunked that very easily.
42-32, DePaul with a 10-point lead.
Those kind of decisions, the one Terrence Greene makes, you can't have your seniors make. When the underclassmen see you do that, they think that's the way you should play basketball. Terrence has got to pass the ball when there are people open in that situation.
And Gathers commits the foul coming down court. Want to remind you, this is game 1 of a college basketball twin bill here on CBS. Number 1 ranked Duke Blue Devils with Danny Ferry playing the Terps from Maryland coming up next. Duke Blue Devils are a decent team, aren't they?
They're not too bad. Coach K down there gets his troops going, and but you playing in that ACC, anything can happen. Duke cannot afford to go, play the game and take Maryland lightly, or they can come up with, being upset.
Number 4, Per Stumer takes a seat on the bench. He's replaced by 42, John Veargason, and Chuckie Murphy hits the first free throw.
Well, we got Lowery in the game for LMU, and that's a player that has really played pretty well for him, as you see Chuckie Murphy's stats right there. Terrell Lowery shoots the ball extremely well. He's streaky. He's a freshman. If he gets it going, he's a tough player to stop. A lot like Jeff Fryer.
Freshmen are streaky in everything they do, aren't they?
Yes, they usually are.
Booth with the steal. And the foot race. David Booth. 46-32 DePaul. Booth has 6.
Good defensive effort by Booth. And we got Enoch is complaining a little bit because he's worried about why DePaul touches the basketball when it goes through, because that allows them not to run.
Simmons over to Peabody and the travel. Here's the play with David Booth.
We talked about the aggressiveness of DePaul, and you see David Booth gets a hand on the ball, shows good agility, goes and gets it. Even with Lowery comes in after, he makes his mind up, he's going to throw it down. That's the way to guarantee it getting in the bucket. Just like you, Greg.
Loyola Marymount has now turned the ball over 13 times. Murphy. And Gathers with a big rebound. Simmons almost losing it in the backcourt. 4:15 to play, first half. Gathers fighting his way through traffic. And the foul will be called on number 21, Stephen Howard.
But
Gathers can get to the ball, you know, as well as anybody. That's Stephen Howard, the young freshman there. You expect that he's going to have some trouble guarding Gathers. But the thing that I think is really important for LMU to start doing, he goes to his favorite post-up position, and he's getting a lot of weak side help. That means there needs to be a skip pass all the way over to the top, and they need a shooter somewhere along the lines of Fryer, Simmons on the other side, so you can loosen up the defense on Gathers.
Gathers won't get the bonus. He has 4 points, but 8 rebounds, and a blocking foul in the backcourt goes against Loyola Marymount's number 11, Tom Peabody.
Well, you see in your screen, Joey Myers is talking to David Booth, because I think DePaul dodged a bit of a bullet right there. You don't need to dribble the ball against a press, particularly a zone press. You pass it to beat it, and you got a freshman here trying to dribble. You can't beat this team dribbling the ball through the press.
And Jeff Fryer replaces
Number 21, Jeff Fryer, is on to replace Tom Peabody, who has drawn his 3rd personal foul. And here's David Booth, 6 points, 3 rebounds so far.
David Booth comes from a very rich basketball tradition. Peoria Manual, I recall those guys when we used to be in high school, ancient times, I might add. And he's played very well for them. They were in the state finals, and they expect great things from him.
Booth goes 1 for 2, 47-32 DePaul. We're under 4 minutes to play now. On the drive was Terrell Lowery, and the foul is called.
Terrell Lowery did a good job of avoiding the defense, because I thought right away that there was going to be a charge call, but Terrell had the presence of mind and body control to go up, move away from the defense. Now he's on the foul line for 2 shots.
David Booth commits his first personal, and Lowery to the line. Lowery gets 1 for 2, and time is called at 3 minutes, 53 seconds to play in the first half. It's been all DePaul so far.
Mobile communication is the power to hold your world together. At GTE, we can put that power at hand to take with you where it has never gone before. Into the skies, down endless highways, beyond all past limitations. At GTE, we give you the freedom of personal communication and the power of new opportunities. Because at GTE, the power is on.
We're back with another test of Chevy versus Ford. And this one you can do at home. Just load both trucks with eggs, then lower something heavy down on them. You'll see that Chevy has these notches that let you do double-deck loading. You'll see that Ford doesn't have any notches. That's why we've had a change of heart about pickups. With Ford, you can bring home the bacon. With Chevy, you can bring home the bacon and the eggs.
the heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevy truck. You got all the right moves, and you handle them well. You got taste, I can tell, by your small bigger bowl, with smoothness and stream, in perfect harmony, like the brew that you drink. Yeah, that's the quality. Slip malt liquor bowl.
For one man, gravity is no problem. The Celtics battle the Bulls tomorrow.
Welcome back to our New York studios. Coming up at halftime on the road to the Final Four, we'll of course bring you up to date on all the late scores and highlights. Georgetown's John Thompson speaks out, and you'll see why Duke may not only have the nation's best team, but its best player, Danny Ferry. All that and more coming up at halftime on the road to the Final Four. Now let's go back to the game you're enjoying.
James Brown will rejoin you at halftime on the road to the Final Four. 3 minutes, 53 seconds to play here, and Hank Gathers not having his ideal day so far.
Well, he really isn't, but I tell you, DePaul is a big part of that. They should be credited. They sent 3 men at the Hank Gathers, leading this country in scoring. I think that's a wise decision. Hank has got to start passing the ball to the open people.
Good pass for Howard from Stanley Brundy.
That's just part of Stanley Brundy's games I haven't seen in the past, and I think it's really going to help him if he starts passing the ball, you know, to open people, because I know Loyola's got to start doubling him for the same reason they double Gathers.
49-33 DePaul. 3 games in 4 days. Is this Loyola Marymount team tired, Quinn?
I really do. I think that they're tired. I don't know if there's any way anybody can play that way. That's a tough NBA schedule. It's tough for these kids, too.
Gathers fighting his way for a shot through 4 DePaul players, and it didn't go. See how well Stanley Brundy is carrying the DePaul Blue Demons, as he did the first time these two teams met 3 weeks ago. Howard underneath for Booth, who is pushed from behind by Simmons.
I'm laughing because it's foul as you see Enoch Simmons, but if you look at David Booth, it doesn't take a lot to push him. He's a very slight kid, and I don't know what he was doing there in the block, but he got a good position. Enoch Simmons had to foul him.
Enoch Simmons, as further substitutions continue to come in, Enoch Simmons will go to the bench. Enoch played a little pro baseball last summer in Arizona, drafted on the 4th round by the Oakland A's.
And I think that had to help him. Joe Hillman from Indiana has had the same experience. They're both in the Oakland A's. One was in Oregon, and Enoch happened to be in Arizona. But that gives a kid a lot of confidence. You know, he doesn't have to put a lot of pressure on what he does in basketball. And I think it enables him to excel.
Enoch, he played in 45 games, hit .307 with 23 RBIs, and stole 17 bases in 19 tries.
I'm not surprised at the steal. He's a great athlete, as you see there on your screen. But I got up, talked to him, I looked at him, and you know, I've been around enough people to know when there's an athlete, he talks like a good athlete. He knows that he can get it done.
51-33 DePaul. We're approaching 3 minutes to play in the first half. 21, Fryer on the travel.
Defense of DePaul really frustrating Loyola. Loyola's having a tough time getting where they want to get with the basketball, and I think that's to DePaul's credit.
Booth to the baseline. Brundy keeps it alive and comes away with it and draws the foul. We remind you that this afternoon we'll be selecting Chevrolet Players of the Game.
Lions personal number 20, Terrell Lowery.
Chevrolet will donate a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholastic Fund of each school to further assist qualified students in all chosen academic fields. 32, Curtis Price into the DePaul lineup, replaces David Booth, who did an excellent job off the bench.
Well, he really did. You know, again, talking about the athletes, they got them coming from all angles here. You see right there, Curtis Price shoots the foul shot. David Booth did a good job rebounding, pushing the ball up, and I think he's been a big plus for him off the bench.
Here's Stanley Brundy at the line, who nailed the first one. Good numbers for him, but he's only a 43% free throw shooter. So what does he do? He knocks 2 of them down.
Every time you talk about it, they do just the opposite. You know that.
53-33, a 20-point lead for DePaul. And the Lions still working on trying to find their rhythm. Veargason, no good. Rebound, Brundy. And as he outlets, he's fouled.
Well, again, Hank Gathers got the ball and he kicked it out. But, you know, it's interesting. When a guy becomes the leading scorer and rebounder in the country, there's a tendency to press. And I'm wondering if right now Hank Gathers isn't doing that. He's not scoring. And the rest of his teammates sometimes feed off of that individual. And you see Hank there in your screen, as I said. When he doesn't score, everybody else has got to figure out, all right, I have to score. And that's different than just being able to shoot a little more with free will.
Foul is on Veargason, his first. And we talked about Brundy's numbers and whether he could duplicate it this afternoon. He now has 23 points, 14 rebounds. And DePaul with a 21-point lead. Veargason goes to the deck. DePaul throws it away. Veargason wants a foul in the backcourt, but Loyola Marymount will bring it up.
Well, I just happened to look at him. The foul was not deserved. He happened to trip on his own man. And
Gathers in the lane. Off the mark, Gathers. Tough follow-up by Hank Gathers. But he has 6.
That's one of the ways you get your scoring touch back. If you can't make your jump shot, as good a jumper and quick as he is, he can get the offensive rebound basket.
Brundy on the move and draws the foul. No, it's the offensive foul on Brundy.
Well, you got to bear with Stanley. He feels like he's on a roll. You get 23 points in a half. You got to feel pretty good about your chances of scoring.
That's number 1 on the 6'7" senior from Los Angeles. There's Joey Meyer. Not a bad ball player in his day.
Yeah, Joey was a pretty good player. I tell you what, he's really done an outstanding job with this program. They're starting, you know, they've always got good kids. Right around 71, 72, they started up again, recruiting kids out of the Chicagoland area. They've continued to do that and done very well.
Veargason hits the first. Joey Meyer, DePaul's number 12 all-time scorer.
See, Veargason there, his primary responsibility in the game is to rebound, be able to make the good outlet pass. If he does that for Loyola, they're able to get their fast break going. DePaul really hadn't missed a lot of shots, so that's one of the reasons that Loyola hadn't had an opportunity to really run. They haven't run off of makes very well, and DePaul just hadn't missed many shots.
And the turnover gives the ball back to Loyola Marymount. We're under 2 minutes to play now, first half, 54-37. And Terrence Greene back into the DePaul lineup, replacing Melvon Foster. Boy, all of the youngsters that Joey Meyer is shuttling in and out of the lineup, this DePaul Blue Demon squad is going to be tough for a couple of years.
They really will be a tough team, Greg. That was one of the things Joey was worried about, whether or not a confidence level got beat down because they lost some tough games to some top 10 teams early.
Bodies fly, a loose ball underneath. Simmons spins it home.
Enoch Simmons trying to see if he can get a basket. We got goaltending. I think Stephen Howard reached through the basket and knocked it out.
And tends to make his point quite clearly. Simmons has 9, 54-39. The 21-point DePaul lead down to 15. Greene across the line for Niemann, who is back into the lineup. Down the lane, Howard. Howard with his own rebound. To the baseline, tight going, and a jump ball. Possession arrow belongs to DePaul.
Stephen Howard made a freshman mistake there. He did a good job getting the offensive rebound, but instead of taking the ball back out to set the offense up again, he took it back into traffic, and I think DePaul was lucky to get away with just getting the jump ball in possession of the ball.
DePaul gets a new 45, but Howard will put it up right away.
Shows you how much it bothered him.
56-39 DePaul. 1:10 to play, first half. Simmons has it batted out of bounds. This Loyola Marymount team is a team that scored 93 points in the first half against U.S. International.
I just cannot imagine somebody doing that. I know it was done, but that's just hard to believe.
And yet the DePaul Blue Demons are the ones that have come out and done everything right so far. Gathers across the lane, fakes once, forces it, and draws the foul.
Well, the one thing you know about the leading scorer in the country, he's going to be persistent. He's got to feel that he can score if he gets the opportunity. But a point we made about it earlier is that when he's just such an active player, you see him down here. Stephen Howard took his eye off of him. There's a good pick by Paris Stevenson. You see Stumer. He goes to the right, but he comes back to his left. And I'll tell you what's interesting about that. And the reason I think he does it, he has a very awkward follow-through. When he comes back to his left, he gets a better chance for the roll to go in.
Gathers now with 9 points, 9 boards, 56-42 with 52 seconds to play. This is Price, and Joey Meyer tells his troops to just slow it down. Shot clock is at 20, game clock at 30.
This is the kind of thing I expected to see Loyola do early, but they're doing a good job. Be patient. They'll get a good shot out of it. Because the one thing that Loyola really doesn't want to do is play defense.
Niemann down the lane and hits.
He made that exact same shot the last time they played, almost in the same circumstances. Down the middle, a little leaner. Good shot by Brad Niemann.
Under 10 seconds to play for the half. Simmons inside, batted away, and thrown away with 1 second to play. Howard. Excellent first half for DePaul. The end of the first half with the score. DePaul 58, Loyola Marymount 42. CBS Sports coverage of NCAA basketball will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
The product, the proving grounds, the results. STP gas treatment is the edge.
A recent Department of Energy study reveals that most American homes are under-insulated. And that means you. To find out what's right for your home, call Owens Corning at 1-800-GET-PINK.
Our son James got this Cutlass Supreme SL because it has front-wheel drive, FE3 suspension, and because test proved the new T-Berg LX and Cougar LS just don't stop as fast. And James just loves a nice fast break.
Go for it, Mom.
Explosive, bold, controversial, smoldering. That's what they're saying, and it's only the beginning. Tour of Duty, Tuesday.
This is CBS.
If you gotta go when it's 20 below, you better have it. Champion Battery. If you gotta go because the stork's arriving, you better have it. Champion Battery. 700 cold cranking amps. Pound for pound, the most powerful battery you can buy. Guaranteed to start your car. So if you gotta go to Auto Express at Montgomery Ward. Because we've got it. And we'll match anyone's advertised price on the Champion 700 battery. Auto Express at Montgomery Ward.
Our son James got this Cutlass Supreme SL because it has front-wheel drive, FE3 suspension, and because test proved the new T-Berg LX and Cougar LS just don't stop as fast. And James just loves a nice fast break.
Go for it, Mom.
Bette Midler and Beaches, this week on Siskel and Ebert.
Welcome to our New York studios. Halftime at the Rosemont Horizon, where our score reads DePaul, believe it or not, leading Loyola Marymount 58-42. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm James Brown, and this is the Road to the Final Four halftime report. Plenty of action in college basketball underway, so let's get you caught up, starting with that big matchup in the Big Ten between 6th-ranked Michigan and number 2 Illinois. Late in that ball game, the Fighting Illini on top by the score of 84-74. Good first half in that one. Kendall Gill closes out matters with a 3-point jumper. That gave them a 4-point lead at the half. Now, the talented Illini got a boost from Nick Anderson in the second half. This jumper pushed them out to an 8-point lead. And the onslaught continued with the high-jumping Lowell Hamilton slamming it through as the Fighting Illini lead that one by the score of 84-74. Other games around the country, North Carolina State, despite the fact they've got a pending investigation there into their athletic program, they move out to an 82-68 win over Georgia Tech. Kansas State, that one all tied up at 28 apiece. That one late in the first half. Clemson and Wake Forest, Clemson on top 35-21. Halftime between Syracuse and St. John's at Madison Square Garden in New York. Syracuse is leading that one by the margin of 40-31. Sherman Douglas, the team's leading scorer and assist man, injured his lower back in the opening minutes, had to be carried off the court by his teammates. Seemed to be a big blow early on as you take a look at him being carried off, but hey, his teammates picked up the slack. They started fast breaking their way to dunks. That one by Stevie Thompson. The Orangemen lead that one 40-31 at the half. Well, there is some news off the court as well to report. At the NCAA convention in San Francisco this week, Proposition 48, their freshman eligibility rule, was amended. Now, the current rule says an incoming freshman meeting either a minimum grade point or college board requirement can receive an athletic scholarship but cannot play his first year. The NCAA now says that the athlete must meet both eligibility criteria in order to receive a scholarship as a freshman. The new rule will take effect August 1990. Now, the new ruling does not sit well at all levels. In fact, Georgetown coach John Thompson says that he will leave the court tonight at the start of his team's game against Boston College as a protest.
I hope to do is to bring attention to the fact that this is very much discriminatory, and it is something that, you know, I'm beginning to feel like the kid from the low socioeconomic background has been invited to dinner, had dessert, and now being asked to leave.
What kind of message are we sending to the kids? The very same kids that we're arguing and fussing about whether or not you should go to school. Where should his ambition stop? In the streets? With drugs? What kind of information are we sending him?
I've heard too many times members of the NCAA who are in favor of Proposition 48 saying we must punish these kids, we must send them a message. Well, I think you can send a kid a message without killing him.
Now, John Thompson added that he may continue to leave the sidelines in upcoming games. Now, the NCAA's Assistant Executive Director, Dave Kaywood, said the delegates who voted for the proposal did so to strengthen academic standards for freshman student athletes. One NBA note to pass along to you, the LA Clippers' Danny Manning, the #1 pick in the NBA last year, underwent knee surgery, major reconstructive surgery, earlier today in Los Angeles. Manning could be sidelined for over a year. When we continue here along the road to the Final Four, the story of Duke's Danny Ferry, a story that probably should start once upon a time. That and more coming up right after this.
The Mitsubishi Galant, winner of Japan's Car of the Year award for a number of reasons. Now at your Mitsubishi Motors dealer for a very reasonable number.
Comfort of Levi's jeans. Or had you forgotten?
To create new worlds, you need to see in new ways. Be curious. Look at the problem from another direction. Commit yourself to the long term. Keep your mind open. Look for breakthrough ideas. From aerospace to healthcare, we're creating new worlds by seeing in new ways. BASF, the spirit of innovation.
Send up a crossbud. Give me an app check.
There's a place in the friendly skies where not everyone's so friendly.
Stop. Hold it. I need 3 hours minimum. Check it out.
Over 9,000 mechanics of United Airlines work here.
Give me a mini grinder.
They're picky, fussy, stubborn. But if you fly, they're the best friends you'll ever have. United, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
The Mitsubishi Montero, Motor Trend's pick for top buy in the sports utility class for a number of reasons. Now at your Mitsubishi Motors dealer for a very reasonable number.
Welcome back to our New York studios and the Road to the Final Four halftime report. We'd like to get you involved today in the Pizza Hut Great Debate, where we allow you, the fan, to participate in a major issue in college athletics. Now, today we pose the question, should penalties be passed along to a head coach leaving a program that's been put on probation? To register a yes vote, phone 1-900-220-2388. To vote no, phone 1-900-220-2399. The charge is 50 cents a call, and a portion of the proceeds from your call will be donated to NCAA charities. Now, we'll give you the results at halftime of the second game of our doubleheader. Well, you know, one team about which there is no debate is Duke University. It's at the top of all the major polls, and one of the reasons why is Danny Ferry, a young man who has been spoon-fed basketball from an early age.
He brings you much more than a jump shot or being a good passer. He just has a better feel for the game off the court, in addition to being on the court. You knew on the court, but off the court.
Danny grew up in a great basketball environment. All his life he was around knowledgeable basketball people. He had an eagerness, I would say. Not a willingness, but an eagerness to really learn the total game, and that's almost made him like a coach on the floor.
I've had a big melting pot effect, I guess, from all the people that I've been with, and I think my father has been the key ingredient. I've always wanted to see films of my father play, but he wouldn't let me see them because he says he doesn't want me to see any bad habits, he says.
Danny's habits began at a very young age where basketball was always the center of attention.
Basketball was kind of my babysitter. Anytime my parents wanted to get away and do something, I think they always sent me to practice.
Danny used to go to basketball games with me as a baby. I used to, you know, whenever I had to watch him, I'd bring him with me. And, you know, he'd just sit there for hours at a time.
It all paid early dividends for Duke as freshman Danny Ferry hit the winning basket in the national semifinal.
Ferry underneath.
And on the defensive end, took the key charge to put Duke into the NCAA championship game.
That was Danny Ferry who held his ground.
Danny Ferry can more than hold his ground. So far, his performance and Duke's #1 ranking have not disappointed. In fact, he is touted as one of the favorites for college basketball's Player of the Year. All this after entertaining thoughts of turning pro a year early.
I said, if you do come back, they'll be putting up your picture, all those magazines, they'll have your picture and all that, and they'll be putting, I'm going to get this guy, I'm going to stop him, and you're going to have to be tougher emotionally, you're going to have to be a better player, and if you go through a year of that, you'll go to another level. And if you're not willing to do that, then I think you should go pro.
Danny's toughness was tested this summer as he missed making the Olympic team, and his mother, Rita, narrowly survived a serious car accident.
It was a long summer, but she's working now, and she's doing great. Watching the Olympics was a tough thing, another dream of mine. Hopefully, what happens this year can overshadow that.
If the Bullets continue their losing ways, Danny Ferry may become the first son ever drafted by his father by luck of the lottery. The bad news is he may have to negotiate with him.
If I had to negotiate with my father, my mother would be my agent, and hopefully I'd get just about anything I'd want.
You know, as tough a decision as it was for Danny to turn pro to stay in school, he says he's glad that he stayed because he's having the time of his life. And you'll be able to see exactly what Ferry means later today when Duke meets Maryland right here on CBS. Our halftime activities along the road to the Final Four continue right after this.
Part of our name. We're a part of your country, a part of your town, and no one else does it the same. We deliver, we deliver. It's the reason you trust us. We know that we're gonna come through. We're your home of service. We deliver for you. We deliver for you.
Take the first step toward a whole new future. During Century 21 Career Opportunity Week. At our career sessions, you'll find out why we're #1 and how our training and innovative support programs could make you #1. The right place is Century 21. The right time is now. Call your local Century 21 office today.
Career Opportunity Week, January 16th through the 22nd.
A hated man.
I'm going to run the Ku Klux Klan out of Alabama.
And a champion for justice. Based on a true story. Unconquered, Sunday.
This is CBS.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to demonstrate the difference between WXRT and other rock stations. You see, WXRT plays a tremendous variety of rock, so their records stay fresh, shiny, new. But just look what playing the same song over and over again has done to this other station's record. To think this was once Stairway to Heaven.
Chicago's finest rock, 93 WXRT.
When the chairman of Marriott checks out a new hotel, how does he check in at home? AT&T. To get home from more phones worldwide, make sure you hear...
Thank you for using AT&T.
When the chairman of Mack Trucks hits the road, who does he depend on for roadside assistance? AT&T. For operator services that go the distance, make sure you hear...
Thank you for using AT&T.
Johnny Morris hosts Bears 88, a miracle short, tonight at 10:30.
CBS Sports coverage of college basketball is sponsored by New Michelob Dry from Anheuser-Busch. Express Mail Overnight Service. And by the Century 21 System, the largest real estate sales organization in America.
Welcome back to the Rosemont Horizon. Greg Gumbel along with Quinn Buckner, our halftime score. DePaul leading Loyola Marymount 58-42. You look at the halftime statistic, the big stat that's going to pop up, Quinn, is the number of turnovers.
Well, absolutely. You expect Loyola to create those kind of turnovers. 15 they have, but not only that, DePaul has got 20 points off of those turnovers where going the other way. LMU only has 6.
Loyola Marymount has only put up 41 shots, and I say only because it's unusual to see a team outgun them from the floor.
Simply said, Greg, they'll get up at least that many, probably close to 50 by the end of the game.
Who's doing the job for each team? Fryer for Loyola Marymount has 15 points. Stanley Brundy with a big 23-point effort so far. As you said, when we talked with Joey Meyer, he said he wanted to control the tempo and control the turnovers. He's done both of those in the first half. Now what does LMU do coming out in the second half?
Well, I think they're going to come out pretty much the same way they normally like to play, Greg. They want to keep the tempo up. They will be more aggressive in their full court defense, but not in the half court. They're not going to do a whole lot about that. LMU just wants to keep the tempo going the way they're accustomed to, because when they do that, that obviously means DePaul is not accustomed to it. You cannot duplicate what LMU does every day in 2 days.
You know, this is a big day as we look at Paul Westhead looking at his team. This is a big day for West Coast Athletic Conference Commissioner Michael Gillerin, who would have loved to have been here, except he's got a problem. He's getting married in Seattle, Washington, and he once said he wouldn't get married until we had a game on network television. Boy, it's tough to back yourself into a corner like that, isn't it?
Boy, he came out of that one pretty good.
Congratulations to Commissioner Gillerin as we get started. Loyola already putting one up. Save. Inbounds. Loose ball at center court. Here comes DePaul.
Well, if that's a sign of things to come, LMU is going to have a difficult time, and I'll tell you why. One of the most important statistics that's not really kept is who comes up with loose balls. That's generally a good indicator of who will win the game.
Hamby inside, loses the ball. Simmons comes up with it. Let's watch the Lions. Fryer at his usual spot on the floor. This is gathered to his left, and is blocked by Hamby.
He has to understand, he's not going to get that shot over Hamby, so he's going to have to start drawing people to it. Gather is going to have to start drawing people to him and start kicking out to people like Fryer who can make that shot.
Three-point bomb by Fryer, 58-45 DePaul. And back to the full court pressure.
We were talking earlier, the size of this lead makes no difference with Loyola. They score points in bunches, so they can get on a roll here and score 13 points in 2 minutes or something. So I don't think they're really concerned about the lead at this point. They just want to start making some passes.
DePaul is a team whose coach was worried about the turnovers, but considering that, they've handled this press surprisingly well today as Booth gets rejected inside. Simmons for Peabody. And Stumer. Peabody across the lane, dishes for Gathers. And the foul is going to be called on David Booth. That's number 2 on Booth.
Peabody did a good job. He drew the defense to him. David Booth came up because he thought Peabody was going to shoot the jump shot. Peabody went to the basket, was able to draw people to him. I think Loyola needs to see more of that. Fryer is a lot better at drawing people to him and finding an open man. That may be the way they get Gathers open.
Fryer out of the corner, too long. Gathers with the whistle. And count the basket.
Well, he came out of that one a bit fired up. But Loyola is coming out here. I think they're going to be very aggressive. But more importantly, I think that DePaul is going to have to stay aggressive. They come out here a little lackadaisical. You see the ball go up. Gathers just stays after, gives a good pump fake. Hamby hits him on the arm.
11 points, 10 rebounds so far. We'll take a timeout with 18:01 to play in the second half. DePaul with the 58-47 lead. We'll be back.
From now on, this is what dry is. Dry is a beer that starts bold from the first taste, finishes clean with no aftertaste, and refreshes completely. Dry is a beer called Michelob Dry. One taste, and you'll drink it dry.
Don't take chances with your brake repairs. Trust your brakes to Midas, where the work is done by trained experts. And your brake shoes and pads are guaranteed for as long as you own your car. Nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
Now, the final chapter, students, in Bosworth's book of etiquette, personal hygiene. I suggest the maximum protection of Right Guard Sports Stick from Gillette. Antiperspirant and deodorant. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Astronomers tell us there won't be a total eclipse in America until the year 2017. They are very much mistaken. This is the year of the eclipse. Introducing the Eclipse GS Turbo by Mitsubishi. Try not to stare.
James Brown back in New York with an NCAA scoring update. Second-ranked Illinois maintains its perfect record with a 96-84 win over number 6 Michigan. Kendall Gill paced the Fighting Illini with 26 points. Now let's send you back to Greg Gumbel and Quinn Buckner.
All right, JB, thank you very much. 18:01 to play, second half, 58-47 DePaul. Hank gathers at the line.
Hank has come back at it this half with a little more renewed vigor. I think they're ready to go at it. They may have gotten their second win while being in the locker room.
12 points, 10 rebounds for Gathers now. 58-48. What was once a 22-point DePaul lead is down to 10. A whistle blows and the foul goes against Jeff Fryer. That's his first.
A critical part in any contest is the start of the first half and the start of the second half. I thought for the first 2 minutes that Loyola came out much more aggressive than DePaul did. Loyola was able to cut the lead, is now at 10 points. And if DePaul doesn't, come back and be a great deal more aggressive like they did in the first half, they're going to find themselves in a contest they can't win because it'll go up and down, and that's what Loyola does best.
We talked about the number of field goals that DePaul had put up more than Loyola. Coming out here, Loyola has already put up 5 shots to just 1 for the Blue Demons. Booth down low for Brundy, and he takes it back out to Howard. Open jumper doesn't fall. Rebound to Peabody. And this is Simmons. And Simmons casts off from long range. Three-pointer makes it 58-51.
Terrence Greene got caught by surprise there.
Ball bounced off of a player, out of bounds, and with the possession arrow belonging to Loyola Marymount, so will the ball.
David Booth tried to do a move that I've seen done pretty much on the playground. He tried to throw it off the back of a Loyola player and get the ball and just step inbound and get it. He didn't do it. It's a jump ball, but DePaul ends up with it again.
Make it DePaul basketball. And Greene into the front court and slows it down.
Wisely slows it down. Don't want to get caught up in the tempo of Loyola.
Greene for Brundy.
Well, it's a good bounce pass by Greene. There's an interesting mismatch in there. They have Peabody at 6'3" trying to guard the 6'7" Brundy. That's just not going to work for Loyola.
Gathers throws one up too hard off the back rim, and Brundy comes down with the rebound. And a whistle in the backcourt, and Enoch Simmons says, not me. Number 3 on Simmons.
You see the approval of Paul Westhead there. He thinks it's a good idea because he sees that aggressive nature in his players again. It's something he hadn't seen in the first half.
David Booth to the bench. Melvon Foster into the lineup for DePaul.
Well, Joey's doing that because he feels he needs more ball handling in there now. They started to turn the ball over more so in this half than they did in the second half.
The home run ball for Howard, and he's fouled by Peabody. And that'll be number 4 on Peabody. Yesterday afternoon, the Blue Demons practiced the same play for about 15 minutes.
They did, and you see it right there. It's just a baseball pass, and out there Booth has the lead, and there's no way Peabody can get it from him. But again, Loyola encourages that because what they want to do is get you to get the easy basket, get it over with so we can get it back.
And Peabody is gone with number 5. Tom Peabody has just fouled out with 16:29 to play, and he's scoreless.
Well, he's not a big player for him from the offensive end. He only gets, 2 or 3. As a matter of fact, he averages 3 points for him. Interestingly enough, they'll probably bring Veargason in for a while to just bang around, just try to keep the ball alive, and you see him coming in the game. What they're going to have to do is come in with Terrell, Lowery. They need more offense. That's the one thing where one place they've really been lacking, I think, in their entire game.
Chuckie Murphy into the lineup for DePaul. Remember, this Loyola Marymount team is without one of its big scorers, and Brundy goes to the hoop again.
Brundy did a good job getting the ball away from the defense. He shot it left-handed.
Simmons front rim, no good. Outlet is for Murphy. 64-51 DePaul. Batted away by Brundy. Gathers, picks off the loose ball and forces it up. No good. Out of bounds and belongs to Loyola Marymount.
Stanley Brundy's been doing an outstanding job for DePaul on the rebound. You see, he gets it, does this wise thing, heads up, throws the ball down to Chuckie Murphy, who goes in for the uncontested layup.
Back to live action, off the shot by Fryer. The whistle blows and the foul goes against Stanley Brundy, number 23. Started to say that Loyola Marymount is missing a key performer in junior Bo Kimble, who underwent arthroscopic knee surgery in late December, and Paul Westhead says we might have him back for the latter part of the season.
Well, that'd be a big plus for him because he's a great offensive player, can get a lot of points on. He averages about 22 points for him when he's playing well. Hadn't done so this year, so they made a decision to let him have the surgery on his knee.
Second foul on Terrence Greene. You might have seen at the top of your screen DePaul coach Joey Meyer pointing to his head. Sometimes he says his kids don't make the best basketball decisions on the court.
But that's youth. He's got a lot of good young players, but they need to play in really spirited games to understand there are good decisions that have to be made.
Gathers across the lane. Power move, doesn't fall. Follows up, no. Back up and in, Fryer. 64-53 Blue Demons.
Well, that's the offensive rebound that allowed that opportunity to happen. Gathers quick off his feet, kept the ball alive, and they ended up getting 2 points.
Fryers with 20 points, and then comes back to the other end and commits the foul.
That's just a bad foul. There's nothing to be accomplished with Fryer fouling out there. That's just a bad foul. Now, Paul is not going to say much to his players because what it does is it gives them, Loyola, a chance to set up defensively to get what they want to get accomplished, which is just speed the tempo up again.
Simmons with the steal. And gets up high, 64-55.
I want to tell you, I said it before, but he almost jumped through the basket.
Enoch with that perennial smile on his face, too. Number 32, Curtis Price, into the game, replacing Melvon Foster. Fire, and the foul.
Again, you see the effects of the full court press. Loyola doing what they need to do, keep the pressure on up front, try to get some steals, some easy opportunities. You see a little bit of disappointment in Joey Meyer. You see right here, it's a tough angle to be, but somehow Fryer gets the ball up. The foul is called on Price.
Number 2 on Price. Fryer with a chance to cut the DePaul lead to 6. Fryer with 23, and it's 64-58. Big leads mean nothing to Loyola Marymount.
Oh, no. They have a lot of people that can score points.
With pressure on the ball now by the Lions. And Chuckie Murphy slows it down.
Well, you need a point guard to do that against a team like Loyola because young players have a tendency to get rattled. They need people to make smart decisions for them.
Greene comes up shooting from three-point land. 67-58 DePaul. Stumer for Veargason, intercepted by Brundy, and back comes Greene for Brundy.
Terrence Greene went to the street a little bit for that one. Back on the playground, wraparound pass around him for the easy layup to Brundy.
29 for Brundy, 69-58. DePaul's lead back up to 11. Veargason for Gathers. Good look.
That was a good pass by Ferguson. And Hank Gathers did a good job reading the play coming to the basket for the 2 points.
DePaul now perfect on its last 5 shots from the floor. And they break the press. Here comes Greene. And Greene's going to take it right to the basket and score.
Smart play. Smart play. Get a chance to take the ball to the basket. You got the defender on his heel. Take it there. Terrence Greene did a good job. Went to his offhand, knocked it in. Smart play by Terrence Greene.
Veargason draws his second. And Terrence Greene with a chance to make it a 12-point DePaul lead. Make it 10 on the afternoon for Greene, and it's 72-60 DePaul. Now let's see how Loyola responds to the latest outburst. Pryor.
You expecting something different than that?
Pryor with another 3. Pryor has 26. And here comes DePaul. Greene travels.
Got a little carried away that time. Should have just made the easy bounce pass. You know, he had the opportunity to do that. He just should have made the easy bounce pass.
72-63. Blue Demons with 13:20 to play. Gathers with the foul and doesn't get the basket. I want to remind you, this is game 1 of a college basketball doubleheader coming your way here on CBS this afternoon. Number 1 Duke and the Maryland Terrapins coming up next. Danny Ferry in action. Stephen Howard committed the foul for DePaul. That's his second. And Simmons taken away by Murphy. And off the back of the backboard, and Loyola Marymount will regain possession.
Well, that's an unfortunate break because I thought Chuckie Murphy did an outstanding job coming up with the basketball. He tried to throw it, got caught under the basket, and hit the back of the backboard. Loyola's ball.
Enoch Simmons goes to the bench. And number 34, Chris Knight, is into the game for Loyola Marymount. Gathers, forcing his way to the hoop, doesn't fall for it. Big rebound, Brundy.
You know, Stanley Brundy is interesting. He leads the team in steals. If he gets his hand anywhere near the basketball, he's always come up with it. If you saw him make a tough rebound, see the foul against Terrell Lowery right there.
But Lowery fouling Murphy.
But I mean, this kid has huge hands. As a matter of fact, if you think about a keyboard on a computer, he can take his entire hand and cover it.
Number 44, James Hamby, into the game, replacing Stephen Howard. Chuckie Murphy to the line with 4 points and 2 assists to his credit so far this afternoon. 1 in a bonus.
Chuckie Murphy is the kid, one of the local kids I talked about that DePaul is starting to recruit. He's a walk-on. He played at St. Joe, Westchester, which is where Isaiah Thomas went to school. And he also played with Terry Mister, who's on Loyola Marymount.
Gene Tingator, head coach at St. Joe's of Westchester, is a Loyola Marymount alumnus. Lowery circles the rim. Hamby with a rebound. And Joey Meyer has to like the way his Blue Demons are handling the pressure so far today. Murphy, foul line jumper.
You know, Joey, for the most part, has all underclassmen in the game right now. And I think he's got to be pretty pleased with how they've played. They've stayed pretty calm with the exception of Brundy. They've been able to stay calm and just handle the pressure.
Into the forecourt. And a backcourt violation on DePaul as the pressure got to 32 Curtis Price.
Well, obviously I jinxed him when I said that.
By the way, Mr. Buckner, welcome home.
Thank you.
Graduate of Thornridge High School in Phoenix, Illinois, where you're a member of 2 state championship teams.
I had the good fortune to be with some very good players and a good coach.
Pryor draws the foul. Thornridge High School was a basketball power, and matter of fact,
You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't.
Matter of fact, I want to know, is this on the way up or on the way down from the basket?
No, I'm still going up. I just don't know what to do with the ball.
And playing, obviously, against some very short people.
Oh, my goodness. You guys. Thanks, fellas.
Good form, though, Clint. Went to Indiana and won a national championship there. Gold medal Olympian. NBA championship. You won everything except the mayoral primary here in Chicago.
No, I don't. Politics, I don't have an interest in. I've been very fortunate. You play with good people, you get a chance to win some things like that.
27 points for Jeff Pryor. This is the Rosemont Horizon just outside of Chicago. Greg Gumbel along with Quinn Buckner. 12 minutes, 4 seconds remaining to be played in the second half. And Pryor gets the second one, 76-65 DePaul. Ball taken away by Lowery. And back come the Lions in a hurry.
Joey Myers is trying to give a break to some of his players, but in doing so, he's got to be careful that this game doesn't get so close that some guys starting to choke. They don't play in games like this often. As you see, Enoch Simmons knocked down a three-pointer.
Out of the corner makes it a 76-68 game. Simmons has 17. Brundy having problems. Murphy losing it and picks it off. Paul Westhead wants to travel. Niemann, top of the key for three. I think Paul Westhead has a pretty good argument there. Chuckie Murphy went up with it, let it go, and picked it up again.
Oh, he definitely had a legitimate call there, but the official was obviously out of position. Unfortunately, that time he didn't make the call, but that happens. Paul,
that's not what you said when you played.
Oh, absolutely not. I was always right when I played, I tell you that.
Chuckie Murphy commits his first foul, and Paul Westhead just wondering how far the Fates are going to go against him.
Well, they're not really out of the contest. There's 11 minutes to go, and they're only down 11 points, and they haven't played very well at all. And I think DePaul, on the other hand, has played an outstanding game. They've handled the press for the most part. Stanley Brundy's had a good game. They got good play off the bench. So Paul Westhead is not in a bad position. Not when a team
Lowery gets the first.
Not when a team scores 115 points.
Here's Stumer into the game, replacing Jeff Pryor. DePaul has only allowed 100 points on one occasion this season, and that was to these Loyola Marymount Lions back on December 23rd.
Well, they can stand in line for that. There are a lot of people that are going to allow 100 points there.
Timeout on the court, 11:13 to play. It's DePaul by 9.
Once again, the automotive world is focusing on Mercedes-Benz because the engineers who created the 190 class and a whole new automotive category have just recreated it.
Give me 2,000 1 second.
Introducing the Mercedes-Benz 190 class, the second generation.
It's sizzling hot. It's the best pizza deal you can cut. A deal that isn't skimpy. This one has real meat to it. 6 meat toppings and a blend of cheeses. Pizza Hut's new Meat Lovers Pizza. Now get one medium for $8.99. Better yet, get a second one for just $4 more. So hurry. It's a limited time offer.
Pizza Hut, making it great.
They're all guts. They're all glory. They're all Madden. John Madden picks his Players of the Year. Plus the USBA Junior Welterweight Championship tomorrow.
On your way back to the game, once again, our Pizza Hut great debate. The question, should penalties be passed along to a head coach leaving a program that's been put on probation? To vote yes, phone 1-900-220-2388. To vote no, dial 1-900-220-2399. The charge is 50 cents a call, and a portion of proceeds from your call will be donated to NCAA charities. We'll give the results later today. Now let's go back to Greg Gumbel and Quinn Buckner.
Thank you, JB. Where would you spend your 50 cents on that question, Quinn?
Well, if the coach is a repeated offender, I think you'd have to look at it. It's so difficult to police your situation that I don't know if you want to do it the first time, but I think you got to have something like that for people who do it repeatedly.
Brundy misses the layup, and with the possession arrow belonging to Loyola Marymount, they'll get the basketball.
I'm not going to hedge that. I think there absolutely needs to be some penalty. The tough part about it is sometimes when you give people two chances to do things, they will do it the first time knowing they may get a second time, and that's what you have to hedge against.
That's what I was going to ask you. Why wait until he's a repeat offender?
Just got out of
that. We'll come back the other way with 10:50 to play. Foul number 3 on Jeff Pryor, number 21. As you look at CBS Sports Wire, scores coming in. Clemson by 10 over Wake Forest in the second half. And early on, Oregon State over Arizona State. Terrence Greene at the line, 10 points, 9 assists so far. And Stumer with the rebound. 9-point DePaul lead. Pryor batted away by Murphy. Good defense by Chuckie Murphy.
Good anticipation. What he did was force Pryor to his left where the ball had to be exposed back to Chuckie Murphy. He made a great defensive play, knocked it out. Loyola ends up with the basketball.
Stumer batted down by Booth. And out of bounds belongs to Loyola Marymount.
See a little bit of disgust there on T's face right there, but there was a good defensive possession there by David Booth. T. Greene just got caught on the baseline, and I thought Paris Steamer had backed away. The official made the appropriate call.
Joey Meyer says Terrence Greene sometimes will try to do things he's not capable of doing, and it gets him in trouble.
Yes, he does, but I think that you can't blame a kid for trying, and that's all he's doing. He understands that he and Brundy are the two elder statesmen, and they need to do some things that some of the young kids just don't have the understanding and courage to do.
Simmons casts off out of the corner. Gathers tap, no good. Loose basketball. And with the possession arrow belonging to DePaul.
You see a little bit of frustration. The official just called a technical foul, probably on Hank Gathers. He hadn't been able to make shots. And this goes back to the point that Paul Westhead made to us yesterday. As a superstar, when you're getting big numbers, you expect to do it every night, and when it doesn't happen for you as easily as you think it should, you start to become a little bit frustrated and start to ask yourself, why is it happening? And there's a tendency to look to put the blame on other people.
David Booth is the best free throw shooter on the DePaul team at 81% coming in. And this is the technical. DePaul basketball, still the 9-point lead. And the nation's leading scorer, by his standards, is struggling.
He's really struggling. He hadn't got on track offensively. He's doing a good job on the rebounding end, but he has not scored at all. But that's very much due to what I think DePaul has made in their defensive assignment. They've double and triple team.
Give credit to the DePaul defense.
Definitely.
Under 10 minutes to play, second half now. Greene into the lane. Good look for Booth, who misses the shot on the baseline, but a foul is called. And this will go against 44 James Hamby.
Good block out by Paris Steamer to get Hamby was on his back. Typically, a coach will not be too disappointed to see somebody like Hamby be aggressive to try to tip the ball back in the basket. That called for the foul that time.
That's number 4 on Hamby. And that'll put Paris Steamer at the line. Stanley Brundy into the lineup now, replacing Hamby. At the line, Steamer. I'm going to give this another shot, Quinn, from Södertälje, Sweden.
That's good. I'm impressed.
Ja, sure, snooker.
Fair came over because they had Brad Dean over coaching the Swedish national team and told Coach Westhead that he had a play he thought that could play for him. Paul went over and looked at it, and they liked him. And he's done a good job for him.
Brad Dean, a former Loyola Marymount player. Murphy single-handedly through the defense, comes up shooting, comes up short, tackles good. Stanley Brundy has 31. Pryor gets that shot off and hits it. Three-pointer makes it 81-75. And Pryor has 31.
Well, Pryor's really played a big game for him because Fair Stevens hadn't really given them the kind of outside shooting that they need in order to open up some of the inside play for Hank Gather. So Pryor's doing what they want him to do. Shoot the ball whenever you get a chance.
Pryor knocked down 30 in their first meeting 3 weeks ago.
You know, I'm amazed that DePaul hadn't gotten the guy to the right corner and just made him sit there, because as sure as we're talking, Jeff Pryor will come to the right corner and he will shoot the basketball from there.
And he will hit it too.
Yeah, that's another one that's pretty well guaranteed.
Inside, Greene on a great pass from Chuckie Murphy.
Great, outstanding pass, wraparound pass in there, just where it had to be. Bounce basket, led to the 2 points.
Stumer, long range, in and out, gathers, fighting for the rebound, and it comes out to Simmons. DePaul wants to travel, as the fans do. They don't get it. And gathers. Whistle blows before he gets the shot off, and the foul is on Stephen Howard.
Joey a little disappointed that he not only didn't get the traveling call, but he also got a foul call on Stephen Howard. That's his 3rd foul.
Gathers will go to the line. 14 points, 11 rebounds to his credit. You know, we mentioned he's the #1 rebounder. A little local news here in Chicago today is that the #2 rebounder in the country, Antoine Johnson of Loyola of Chicago, declared ineligible the remainder of this season, not by NCAA standards, but by Loyola University of Chicago standards.
Well, Gene Sullivan is a tough, demanding coach. He expects certain things from his player, and academically, he expected that from Antoine, and Antoine just didn't own up to what he should be doing.
That missed free throw broke a string of 13 straight for Loyola. Greene coming back. And back outside to Howard. And Loyola will slow things down with 8.5 to play here in the second half. 83-76. Blue Demons.
There's a lot of time. We still have 8.5 minutes to go in this contest.
Booth. Baseline. Back for Brundy. Brundy again.
Outstanding effort by Stanley Brundy. He stayed active on that rebound, came up with the basket.
Pryor off the baseline, gathers, and the foul.
Hank Gathers, he's a sight to behold. He's really quick to the basketball. See the shot go up. Pryor takes a very difficult shot, gets it up. Hank Gathers quick to it. You see Brundy try to block the shot. He hits Gathers on the arm. But Gathers, he anticipates where the ball is going to go. That's one of the real attributes he has that enable him to get to offensive rebound.
Gathers has 18. And we have a timeout with 7 minutes, 58 seconds to play. CBS Sports coverage of NCAA basketball will continue after this word from your local station.
This is CBS.
The new Chevy Beretta, designed to help you look better, engineered to help you drive better, and priced to let you live better. Not only has the new fuel-injected Chevrolet Corsica LT helped bring down the cost of performance, it's also been designed to handle something many sports sedans can't: your family.
CBS Sports coverage of college basketball is sponsored by Pizza Hut's new hand-tossed traditional pizza. Pizza Hut, making it great. Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. And by Budweiser and Bud Light, who'll bring you Bud Bowl 1.
14,000 on hand here at Rosemont, Illinois. Loyola Marymount shooting just 35% from the field. DePaul playing some defense. Jeff Pryor carrying the load so far for Loyola, and of course Brundy as expected for DePaul. But Quinn, perhaps the fact that Mr. Gathers has made himself a little bit more prominent here in the second half is the reason why the Lions have been able to close the gap.
Well, I think that's very much so. Again, Loyola depends so much on what Hank Gathers does. When he starts to play well, the rest of the players feed off of it. That has started to happen, and the game has changed. Now Loyola's only down 6 points.
You saw the 10 blocked shots for DePaul. Loyola Marymount has blocked 1. And back to the pressure. And Gathers commits the personal foul. Foul is on Gathers, and that's number 3.
Now, the foul is something that I'm sure would concern Paul Westhead, but the thing that they really don't want to worry about, Loyola is not going to really be concerned about, as a rule, with the exception, unfortunately, of the young man on the line, David Booth. DePaul is not a very good free throw shooting team, and so they figure, all right, we'll give up a foul. They don't want Hank Gathers to get the foul, but we'll give up the foul just so we can have an opportunity to come back and shoot a 3-point shot.
Booth is almost automatic from the line. DePaul led at halftime, and when they lead at halftime, they are 7-1 on the season.
That's youth again. Young players get up. It's a lot easier to get up there and stay instead of fighting back. You know, they've become mentally a lot tougher, but it's just a lot easier to stay up high.
Pryor close to a travel. Simmons blocked out of bounds.
Blocked by Brundy. It's a great block, but it's a lot easier to stay in front of people, Greg, than it is to get out, come up from behind. It just takes a lot more, and young players just have to learn how to do that.
Gathers, power move to the basket. Gathers now with 20. And it's 86-81, DePaul by 5, 7:35 to play. DePaul again, a good job on the press, comes down to 3-on-1, Greene. Stumer off the mark. Pryor, good rebound by Pryor, and he drew the foul. Foul is going to be on Terrence Greene.
It was very good anticipation rebounding effort, I thought, for Jeff Pryor. He realized it. He saw what we saw. From my angle, you could see Stumer fall back in his shot. Jeff Pryor saw the same thing, went for the offensive rebound and got it.
Stephen Howard going to the bench. Curtis Price into the game for DePaul. And this is Jeff Pryor. We asked him yesterday what kind of offense he played in high school. He said exact opposite.
It's opposite. But the other part of that conversation, Greg, was we asked him, well, what do you think about how do you feel about playing in this offense? And his eyes just lit up. This is great.
I think it's fair to say he comes out of the locker room shooting.
He's got the message and the green light. When you get the ball, it says the message is you shoot it.
33 for Pryor. Greene for Price outside, and we'll slow it down. DePaul with the basketball and a 5-point lead and 7 minutes to play. Niemann fakes it, now puts it up. And a foul on Stumer from behind. For Stumer, that's number 2. You commented as soon as we saw him, he's more of the linebacker type, isn't he?
I mean, he is really thick. He gets up, he doesn't mind banging people. And, as you mentioned, he's a little older than some of these guys, so he's a lot more aggressive, and he understands what it takes to just go out here and play hard and not be concerned about scoring points. So he's a great addition, I think, to what Loyola is trying to get accomplished. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody like Dallas doesn't take Parrish Steeman and try him at tight end. I mean, he's got that kind of build.
90-83, LMU. 6:40 to play. Simmons. Got it. Ends up flat on his back at center court. 90-85. Simmons with 19. And you get the feeling Loyola Marymount may be heating up.
But you know what they do? Again, with Paul Westhead, he talked about, we're willing to give up 2 for 3. They get 3-point opportunities. They're willing to let you make a basket. That's why they don't play very hard defensively.
Greene down the lane and draws a foul. Blocking foul is on Veargason. Third personal foul on Veargason. Chuckie Murphy into the DePaul lineup. Terrence Lowery, Terrell Lowery, rather, in for LMU.
Well, for LMU, one of the things they want to do is combat some of the ball handling that Chuckie Murphy brings to the table here. But the other thing is Lowery will score. Brad Niemann has not been scoring very well for DePaul in this game, so they don't necessarily need him in to handle the ball. They need somebody like Chuckie Murphy. That's strictly what he's on the club for.
(91-85), 92-85. As we get up close to triple figures.
Did you think there was any question whether or not this game was going to be in triple figures?
Whistle blows. Foul underneath is on Price. Price is third. He's telling the official that he hit me first, but it's never the first guy. It's always the second.
It's always the second. And that, you know what that was, Greg? That's a little bit of that upperclassmen savvy. You know, Curtis Price is a young player. He's a freshman here at DePaul. He's playing against Gathers, a guy who knows all the tricks of the trade. And that time, Price just got caught.
20 points, 14 rebounds for Gathers. 21. So after a slow start, Gathers has begun to pick up steam.
Well, he's cranked it up, and him doing so has Loyola.
One-handed rebound by the freshman Booth. Six-point DePaul lead, under 6 minutes to play. Brundy. Follow by Booth. Impressive follow by Booth, and it's 94-86. Booth has 14. Simmons.
Get out there.
Simmons for 3.
Sorry, you got to get out there. He's on a roll now. He's feeling good about the shot. Fryer hadn't been able to get open. Simmons will shoot it.
Over the line, Brundy loses it. Fryer has it. Here comes Loyola. Stumer, long range, way off. Greene, and a 3-on-1 for DePaul. Brundy, and the foul will be on Stumer.
And that's not a bad foul. He made a Stumer made a good decision to go and foul Stanley Brundy. Stanley Brundy is not a very good foul shooter. He's only shooting 41%. That's a good foul.
Foul number 3 on Stumer. What a surprise when we found out what Terry Stumer's nickname was, huh?
Swede. That's real good, guys. Stanley Brundy, you see, played with Perry McDonald, player at Georgetown, 6'7" player. Stanley Brundy grew up in New Orleans and then went to Crenshaw High School, where they've had great players like Marcus Johnson, Darryl Strawberry. So he's been around a lot of good athletes.
Only 3 DePaul Blue Demons in history have ever had 30-point, 15-rebound games. Mark Aguirre was one, Terry Cummings was another. Stanley Brundy has now done it for the 3rd time in his career. Fryer, long range, 3. 96-92, Fryer with 36 points. Booth inbounds to Price.
This is an important time down the court for DePaul. If they don't score, they put themselves in a real tough bind.
Simmons, got it!
And they didn't score. You see now, that's a 3-point basket.
Lead is down to 2. Joey Meyer wants a timeout and can't get anyone's attention. Greene. Blocked by Veargason, and the foul is called. And Joey Meyer still wants that timeout.
Well, he's got to slow this tempo down. The tempo is starting to favor Loyola Marymount. They were going, DePaul was going up and down the court, and now we have a two-point contest. And again, that's not a bad foul by Veargason, because now what you have is a 25% basically free throw shooter on the foul line.
He'll take that timeout before Brundy goes to the line. 4:32 to play in a two-point game.
The AT&T Pebble Beach National Pro-Am in 2 weeks on CBS Sports.
Football fans, get ready for the battle of the century as unbeaten Budweiser takes on undefeated Bud Light. It's Bud versus Bud Light in Bud Bowl 1.
Pick up your official scorecard wherever you see this display.
Hey, Bud, super idea. You see the neck on that guy?
Use it to follow the action and you could win. So get ready, get set. On January 22nd, Bud Bowl 1. This time, it's for real.
This report details new opportunities in several markets here.
And we'll be arriving in
20 minutes.
20 minutes?
Yeah, at 200 kilometers, 125 miles per hour for you.
I never would have known. 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Too bad.
You're looking sharp, you're looking good. You've come so far, and we know how to make the most of who you are. Father to son, it's what we've always done. Gillette.
The Gillette Atra Plus system with the Lubra Smooth strip for the best a man can get.
We're going back to the Loyola Marymount DePaul game in just a moment. Coming up next on CBS, the Duke Blue Devils against the Maryland Terrapins. The Blue Devils, with senior Danny Ferry leading the way, undefeated and ranked #1 in the country. They take on a young Maryland team, and that's next on CBS. Right now, let's go back to Greg Gumbel at Rosemont.
Greg Gumbel, Quinn Buckner back at the Rosemont Horizon. 4.5 to play as an anxious Joey Meyer has seen a 22-point DePaul lead down to 2.
Well, I would be anxious also. We talked about Loyola can score a lot of points. Now, coming out of this timeout, it's important that at any point, whether or not Brundy makes these free throws, Loyola has got to come out and increase the pressure they've had defensively. DePaul, on the other hand, has to make sure they get the ball on their end of the half court. Don't get caught in the corners where they can get trapped. Try to keep the ball in the center of the court and fan it out to the open players. You can't stall because of the 45-second clock, but you can be patient and take good shots.
Brundy goes for number 37. (98-94) DePaul. Lowery, double pump, doesn't go, loose ball, DePaul has it. Turnovers have turned around in the second half. Loyola Marymount has gone from 14 in the first half to 4 in the second. DePaul has increased from 7 to 10.
Well, it's the increased defensive pressure that Loyola put on in the full court press that allowed the turnover situation to change as it has.
4 minutes remaining. Brundy inside.
Play was made by Terrence. Greene. He did a good job breaking down the defense, getting by his man, found Stanley Brundy open under the basket for 2 points.
Simmons on the drive, Gathers with the follow. 23 for Gathers, and the pressure. Final from Madison Square Garden in New York, 65-63, St. John's over Syracuse. Murphy. Into the game, number 4, pair schemer, number 44, James Hamby for DePaul.
Hamby's into the game for his defensive purposes to try to do something to keep Hank Gathers off the offensive boards. Pair Schemer's got to come in and do pretty much the same thing offensively for Loyola Marymount. He's got to get rebounds and just try to get whatever he can off the offensive boards.
Pryor doesn't get it, and the foul is going to be on Gathers. That's number 4 on Gathers.
Well, he's the one player they can't afford to lose, so now it's the C10. He played with 4 fouls. He tried it the last time they played here. The Loyola played here. Wasn't able to be very successful. He still ended up with 32 points, 11 rebounds, but Paul Westhead's team didn't get the victory.
Another day at the office for Paul, doesn't it?
It sure is.
Hamby goes to the line, 62% free throw shooter. And his 5th point of the day.
Hamby is affectionately called the Chief. Very much like Robert Parrish, doesn't show a great deal of emotion. Robert Parrish to the Boston Celtics. They called him Chief for the same reason.
No problem with 2 free throws there. 104-96. DePaul has the lead back up to 8. Clock showing 3 minutes to play in the game. Gathers into the lane, puts it up with a hand in his face, picked off by DePaul. This is Greene. Point lead for DePaul. Gathers, goes right at his man, puts it up and draws the foul.
It's a good job by Hank Gathers. He's not a very good jump shooter. You know, I asked Paul Westhead, could he play in the NBA? And he said the one thing that Hank Gathers can do, he understands he can't shoot the ball very well from past 15 feet, but he can get to where he does shoot it well. As you saw right there, took the ball to the basket, and now he's looking for a 3-point play.
Took it right to the man who had 4 personals, and James Hamby fouls out with 6 points and 6 rebounds. Stephen Howard back into the lineup. It was Hamby who got his hand on the ball and had the Blue Demons going the other way for the dunk from Terrence Greene just a few moments ago.
Well, they're going to miss his defense on the inside now because that just turns Hank Gathers loose to be able to play. And Hank doesn't play well against people 6'9" or better.
Gathers now with 26 points. And we're down to 2:25 for the game. 106-99 DePaul. Murphy off the pick.
You know, for a long time, DePaul has been searching to get a point guard. Chuckie Murphy is a walk-on. He had a big game against Eastern Illinois, and he's showing up for a big game this second half against Loyola Marymount.
Brundy ties up Fryer on the baseline. Possession arrow favors Loyola Marymount. Make it 2 DePaul. That's turnover number 20 for Loyola Marymount. 34, Chris Knight into the lineup for the Lions. And here comes DePaul 2-on-1. Brundy.
Smart play by Terrence Greene, drawing the defense to him, giving Brundy the easy 2 points.
Number 41 on the board for Brundy. Out of bounds and belongs to Loyola Marymount. 10 assists on the day for Terrence Greene.
Well, Terrence has done an outstanding job, I think. He's been smart on the majority of his plays. He's one of the senior leaders, and it's important that his leadership carry his young team through for a victory like this.
Paul Westhead wants to talk about it with 1:46 to play. 110-99 DePaul.
Saying goodbye to a car you've owned for years is a lot like saying goodbye to an old friend. But if it's a Mercedes-Benz, there's always this cheering fact to consider. Over the years, Mercedes-Benz automobiles as a line have retained a higher percentage of their original value than any other make of car sold in America. And that can make the sorrow of parting a little sweeter. What dry was. What dry is. Introducing new Michelob Dry Beer. It's brewed longer to start bold, finish clean, and refresh completely. New Michelob Dry. One taste, and you'll drink it dry.
You're looking sharp. You're looking good. You've come so far. And we know how to make the most of who you are.
The Gillette Atra Plus system with the Lubra Smooth Strip for the best a man can get.
Duke, Maryland, the #1 team in the nation, the Blue Devils of Duke, battle ACC Polk, Maryland, on CBS Sports next.
James Brown back in New York with a road to the Final Four update. St. John's has pulled off an upset of 4th-ranked Syracuse. This Matt Brust layup sealed the 2-point win for the Redmen.
Thank you, JB. Stoppage of play here. And a whistle blows, and the officials are just going to straighten it out and find out the reason why.
Well, what they did, they had a foul on Chris Knight, and coming down the court, he fouled Chuckie Murphy, who was trying to push the ball up. But the foul looked something like something that Paul Westhead wanted to do to stop the clock. As you see the timeout situation, Loyola Marymount has 3, DePaul has 2.
Personal number 2 on Chris Knight as Murphy knocks the first one home.
You know, this kid has really done an outstanding job for him. DePaul had Strickland left, Edwards left, the 2 first-round picks, one of the few teams to ever have that in the conference. So Loyola was really hurting for what they were going to do at point guard. Walk-on Chuckie Murphy, has come in and done an outstanding job for him.
14.3 assists for Murphy, 112-99 DePaul. And the whistle blows, and this one is on Stumer. That will be 4 on Per Stumer.
Lions personal number 4, Per Stumer, his 4th.
You know, people who don't feel that this Loyola Marymount squad is a physical squad are badly mistaken.
Oh no, they play physical. You know, and we've commented on how Per Stumer plays. You know, Hank Gathers is well put together, as well as Enoch Simmons. So they have some guys that can get out and bang around. So it's not a matter of them being totally finessed. They just would rather run down the court, back and forth, as opposed to staying there and knock people around.
Melvon Foster gets on the board for the first time this afternoon. I want to remind you, coming up next here on CBS, #1 Duke Blue Devils against the Terps of Maryland.
You know, should Joey Meyer's DePaul Blue Demons pull this one out, this would be a great win for the young players. They struggled, as I said, because they played 5 of the top 10 teams early. So if they win here on national TV, I think this will help their confidence tremendously.
Fryer chases this one down and puts it back up and hits it.
He was over near us when he shot that one.
114-102. 39 points and 8 3-pointers for Fryer. And Greene will go to the line with the foul in the backcourt. 1:09 to play. And in LMU terms, that's a lot of time.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot of time. And particularly in light of the fact that we talked about the free throw percentage. Now, one of the things that will work out interestingly to DePaul's advantage is once Terrence Greene here on your screen and Stanley Brundy leaves, their free throw percentage, which is right around 67% now, goes up decidedly almost to 70-72%, because unfortunately their 2 seniors are just not very good foul shooters. But you need them in the game down the stretch because they know what to do.
They're the ones LMU will want to foul in order to try to get the ball back. Terrence Greene, 6'4", 210-pound senior from Flint, Michigan, has played in every game since he arrived at DePaul.
Terrence Greene is an interesting guy. He had an opportunity. He was a great football player in high school and decided that he wanted to play basketball to stay away from the temptation. Decided to come to a school that doesn't even have a football program.
20 points, 10 assists for Greene, 116-102. Fryer, again!
Too late.
9 3-pointers for Fryer, 42 points. And Stephen Howard will go to the line.
Lions personal 34, Chris Knight, his 3rd. Stephen Howard, 1A, the bonus.
Joey Meyer says this guy plays a big role in our future for the next 3 years.
Well, you can see that Stephen Howard has all the tools. He's agile. He can score. You know, he's very bright, understands how to play the game, and they're expecting big things from him.
12 points for Howard.
You know, we talked about how the leg weariness would work against Loyola Marymount, and I think it has. And one of the reasons it has is because people like Howard have come in, given a good lift to DePaul off the bench.
1:05, 50 seconds to play. Pryor, block. Brundy with the block. Murphy on the scoring end. And Paul Westhead calls time with 36 seconds to play.
Well, Stanley Brundy has played an outstanding game. I'm not sure what Paul Westhead is talking to the official about, but that's the reason he called a timeout, was to talk to the official. But Brundy has blocked shots, he's rebounded, he's scored. You know, I think he's done himself tremendous justice. And Brundy has ambitions to be a professional basketball player. This was his opportunity on national TV to show the pro scouts that he's a player that can play in the league.
We talked about how tired Loyola Marymount might be. We should explain that on Wednesday night, they beat the University of San Francisco 113-95, beat Santa Clara 87-80 Thursday night, flew into Chicago here yesterday, and they're out here today, and they've got a flight after the game.
Yeah, it wears on you. I know, young kids can bounce back faster than, you. Anyway. You and I should say.
Thank you, Cool.
But at any rate, I think it's taking its toll, because what you lose is that not only are your legs tired, but you become tired in your mind. You don't think quickly enough through the game, and it makes it very difficult to play a good basketball game.
With 36 seconds to go and 105 points on the board, looks like Loyola Marymount will fall short of their average of 113. By contrast, the 120 that DePaul has up there now ties the school record. Simmons, Stumer, waits, puts it up again, no, loose ball, Murphy has it. And that last series by Stumer pretty much tells the way things have gone. And down on the floor is Gathers.
Yeah, I think it pretty much made the story for Loyola Marymount. They can't come up with loose balls, but I think of more concern right now to DePaul is the fact that their leading player is sitting down on the floor.
Fifth personal foul for Per Stumer. He is out of the game, and we want to congratulate Stanley Brundy of DePaul, Jeff Pryor of LMU. At the conclusion of every CBS NCAA broadcast, we select the Chevrolet most valuable player from each team, and you're looking at him for today. Chevrolet donates a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholastic Fund of each school to further assist qualified students in all chosen academic fields. Brundy, 41 points, 22 rebounds. Pryor, 42 points today. And Per Stumer on the bench, out on fouls, and a grand total of 6 points today.
For the Lions, number 3, Terry Mister, replaces Gathers.
Terry Mister into the ball game.
Murphy, 1 in the bonus.
Put this one on the ledger for DePaul. The Blue Demons will move to 10-7. Loyola Marymount will fall to 8-6. Murphy shot way off. Under 20 seconds and out of bounds and belongs to DePaul.
Well, when it rained in DePaul, Jeff Pryor was trying to shoot the ball before he got it in his hand, took his eye off of it, lost it out of bounds. And right here you see Joey Meyer just making wholesale substitutions, taking out Brundy, and all the guys, Howard. They played an outstanding game today. I thought it was going to be difficult for them to win here, but they're here in the horizon. I just think DePaul and Joey Meyer did an outstanding job today.
Number 50, Curtis Jackson, 34, Charles Sowell in, and Murphy helps DePaul set a new scoring record, 122. Simmons gets the bucket and the foul with 6 seconds to play. Interesting to note, too, Quinn, that Paul Westhead felt that his team was playing better at this point than at any time during the season. They had won 6 of 7 since losing to DePaul here in the Horizon back in December.
Well, I think they were playing better. If you look at their scoring average, it's increased. But I do think that it's just been a long trip, and nobody really knew what the effect would be. When I asked Paul about it yesterday, he just said candidly, I don't know. I don't think it'll affect our players, but I just don't know.
Simmons with the steal, doesn't get the layup, loose ball, doesn't fall, and that's it. 122-108, the final score. DePaul a winner. We'll be back to wrap things up at the Horizon after this.
You know we're gonna be there. Don't think twice. Serve part of your country, a part of your town, and no one else does it the same. We deliver, we deliver. It's the reason you trust us. Know that we're gonna come through with your postal service. We deliver for you. We deliver for you.
Here's why these members of the United States ski team prefer Alka-Seltzer Plus cold